Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to my morning news report right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. Twitter permanently suspends Donald Trump's account. President teases a new platform. The social media platform has been his preferred method of communication. It appears President Donald Trump will have to find a new preferred platform to share his views with the world. Twitter announced Friday evening that it had permanently suspended Trump. After a close review of recent tweets from the real Donald Trump account and the context around them, specifically how they are being received and interpreted on and off Twitter, we have permanently suspended the account due to the risk of further incitement of violence, Twitter wrote in a statement. Trump's final tweet said he would not be attending the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. Hashtags for Trump banned and thank you Twitter quickly rose to the top of the social media site in the wake of the permanent suspension. Hours after his suspension, Trump released a statement criticizing the ban and teasing a possible new platform. I predicted this would happen, he wrote in part. We have been negotiating with various other sites and will have a big announcement soon, while we also look at the possibility of building out our own platform in the near future. We will not be silenced. Twitter is not about free speech. They are all about promoting a radical left platform where some of the most vicious people in the world are allowed to speak freely, Trump said. Trump had attempted to post the same statement on Twitter using the official POTUS account, but the platform deleted the thread, saying users are banned, cannot post from other accounts. The POTUS account, rarely used by Trump himself over the past 4 years, will be transferred over to the Biden administration following his inauguration. The blog post from Twitter announcing the ban cited the events of Wednesday's raid on the U.S. Capitol as a reason for the suspension. Trump's account has been temporarily suspended in the wake of the rioting, but warned the president another violation of its terms of service would result in a permanent ban. In the context of horrific events this week, we made it clear on Wednesday that additional violations of the Twitter rules would potentially result in this very course of action, the company wrote. And here is a look at what Donald Trump's personal Twitter account looks like now. Account suspended, it says. Five people died in the rioting at the Capitol on Wednesday, including one police officer, just hours after Trump held a rally and urged his supporters to march to the Capitol. Rioters ended up pushing past police and ransacking legislative offices, spraying graffiti on walls, and stealing property. In a video message posted on Twitter hours later, he called on the rioters to leave the Capitol, but also said, "We love you." Since his election loss in November 2020, the president has consistently used the social media platform to biasly claim the election was rigged on rampant with fraud. Twitter began labeling his tweets in the run-up to the election to say some of the information was disputed. However, they were not taken down. Facebook suspended Trump's account indefinitely on Thursday, with Facebook CEO writing in a post that the risk of allowing the president to continue to use our service during this period are simply too great. Therefore, we are extending the block we have placed on his Facebook and Instagram accounts indefinitely and for at least the next 2 weeks until the peaceful transition of power is completed. Reddit on Friday removed the Subreddit Donald Trump from its platform, with a spokesperson saying Reddit's site-wide policies prohibit content that promotes hate or encourages golfers, inciting or calls for violence against groups of people or individuals. Twitter has defended keeping Trump's account active in the past based on politicians and world leaders providing information in the public interest, even if they go against Twitter policy for average users. But Twitter said Thursday they felt that was no longer the case with Trump. Our public interest framework exists to enable the public to hear from elected officials and world leaders directly, Twitter wrote. It is built on a principle that the people have the right to hold power to account in the open. This statement continued, however, we made it clear going back years that these accounts are not above our rules entirely and cannot use Twitter to incite violence, among other things. We will continue to be transparent around our policies and their enforcement. A number of Trump associates were banned from Twitter earlier in the day. Friday, Michael Flynn, Trump's first national security advisor, whom the president pardoned late last year for lying to the FBI during the Russia investigation, was banned, as well as lawyer Sidney Powell, who briefly served as Trump's legal team following the election. Trump has used Twitter as his main outlet for disseminating information for a decade. His post during his presidency sent the same personal account used since March 2009 often generated headlines themselves. Calls for Twitter to ban Trump, while increasing in the months since Election Day, are nothing new. Vice President-elect Kamala Harris repeatedly said while she was running for president that he should be banned. She wrote a letter to CEO in October of 2019, citing a handful of tweets she said broke the platform's policy. Twitter pointed to its public interest policy and said they did not plan to ban his account. He had approximately 5 million followers on Twitter at the time of his removal, the 8th most followed account on the platform. Former President Barack Obama has the most followers at over 127 million, followed by Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Rihanna, Christina Rondell, Taylor Swift, and Lady Gaga. And that does it for this morning news report right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this morning news report. Have a great rest of your day. See you back here later on today for another news report. Goodbye, everyone.